If you're watching this video right now, I'm guessing that you're considering moving over from the DSLRs of old over to the new mirrorless systems. Why wouldn't you? It seems like everybody else on the planet is transitioning. I've done it myself. I've been a long time shooter on Canon and I've now made the switch over to Sony and I'm absolutely loving it. But today, I want to give you 5 reasons why I think mirrorless systems are here to stay and you might want to start considering switching over yourself. My top reason number 1 is the autofocus. Now, don't get me wrong, when mirrorless systems first came out on the market, the autofocus sucked. It was terrible. It would hunt, it would just fly past the actual focus point there where you wanted and come back. It'd be reasonably quick, but it still wasn't where DSLRs are. And DSLRs have been king for many years, but mirrorless systems right now, the autofocus system is brilliant. With the introduction of the Sony A9, the A7R III, the A7 III, God, these names get ridiculous. Even the Olympus, the Panasonic, the Fujis. Not only are mirrorless systems able to keep up with the high-end DSLRs like the Canon 1DX Mark II or the Nikon D5, in some regards, they beat them. Now don't get me wrong, I can see the comments already. Let me explain. You see, mirrorless systems, I'm not going to just talk about it from the Sony perspective for a second, but Sony have some incredible autofocus options, especially with the face and the eye detect. These are real game changers. It seems like Nikon and Canon have been drip feeding us technology for years now, and Sony's just basically stepped up and gone, sorry, that's not good enough, and given the consumer everything that we want, or that we kind of require, I guess, in 2018. It doesn't mean that DSLRs are dead or they can't do the same job. It just means that technology and the autofocus options that we're getting from mirrorless cameras now is just so much better. We can lock onto the eye instantly and we know perfectly well that we're going to get incredibly sharp images straight out of the camera. We don't have to worry about anything, and like I say, this is a real game changer, especially for myself as a wedding photographer. If you're a landscape photographer or architectural photographer, it's not going to make any difference, but for anybody that shoots portraits, this is a big deal. Autofocus options, honestly, it's where it's at. Reason number 2, they're smaller and lighter. I mean, hang on a second. Okay, so 5D Mark IV. Brilliant camera, it does a lot of stuff, but look at the size of this. It's pretty beefy. Now, let's have a look at the smaller A7 III. It's smaller in just about every regard. It's lighter, the grip is a lot smaller as well, so if you've got baby hands like me. Both of these are full frame sensors as well, but this one's so much smaller, and it does make a difference. Let's have a look at lenses, because I know somebody's going to come up and say, well, as soon as you attach a lens, the weight difference is negligible. Well, bear me a second again. Lenses. This is my 85 Sigma Art. It's a 1.4 lens, so naturally it is going to have a little bit more glass in there. I give you that one, I can't argue it, it's the truth. This is my 85 1.8. Yes, again, 1.8, so it's got a little bit less glass in it. But look at the size difference, guys. I mean, come on. It's huge. This is a mammoth lens. Yes, it is known for being a pretty big lens, but it's also known for being one of the best on the market. This is an incredible lens also. And honestly, the depth of field between these two, yes, you're going to get a little bit shallower depth of field at the 1.4, but the difference is so negligible now. It's like, honestly, you have to pixel peep, and it's something that your clients are never ever going to notice. I'm actually fine at shooting with a 1.8 lens over a 1.4. If I get a much lighter lens in the process, I will still be using this lens because I think it's absolutely awesome. I'm perfectly happy buying a 1.8 lens over a 1.4 for the Sony system because the autofocus is absolutely fantastic, the sharpness is incredible, the depth of field is still pretty damn good. It's not going to be up to the same level, I've already said that, but yeah, I'm happy with this. And again, the size, the weight, this is like weight. I don't need a gym membership with this kind of setup. It's just, I'm going to get some proper biceps now. Reason number 3, the electronic viewfinder, or the EVF for short. And honestly, this is a bit of a game changer, guys. If you haven't experienced it, I highly recommend you go out, you try a mirrorless camera for yourself, and you'll be like, wow, I need this in my life. So what do I mean? Well, when you look at things with your eye, you're just basically seeing what's there in front of you as an ambient light source, and it doesn't represent how the camera sees the picture. So if I want to make the picture actually darker, I'll just change the exposure value and it'll show it through the EVF, not through my eye. The picture in front of me with as I'm seeing it won't change, but it will change in camera. If I want to make the picture brighter in the camera, I just change the exposure value and I can see how it's going to look. And this is going to be represented by the final picture that I put into something like Lightroom. This is a big thing. If anybody says it's not, they're lying to you. This is a big, big, big thing. As we know by now, a DSLR, when you put your eye up to the eyepiece, you're just looking through basically a bunch of mirrors that line up with the lens, and it's just going to show you basically what your eye sees. It doesn't show you how the camera reads things. So sometimes when you take a picture on your DSLR, you look at the back of it and go, well, that's underexposed, or that's massively overexposed, because you've forgotten to actually change or adjust the actual exposure value for the scene that's in front of you. You don't get that anymore with mirrorless. On a mirrorless camera, you will be able to see instantly whether you've underexposed the shot or overexposed the shot. This speeds everything up, especially if you're like me, a wedding photographer. I haven't got time in the day to faff around. I mean, I've been doing it for years, so I'm kind of accustomed to it, but this just speeds things up so much nicer. And yeah, it's a real game changer. I can't stress that enough. It is a game changer. It's absolutely brilliant, and you don't want to go back to a system like this. It seems kind of archaic. Guys, it's the future. Number 4, image quality. And oh my god, before anyone mentions it down in the comments below, yes, the image quality from a DSLR and a mirrorless camera are pretty much level pegging, but that's not what I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is the image quality that you're getting out of a mirrorless camera these days is superb. Whether you're coming from a micro four thirds system all the way up to a full frame system, the image quality is incredible. Even something like the camera I'm filming on right now, which is the OMD EM1 Mark II by Olympus, is fantastic. The image quality I'm getting out of this camera, I'm going to say, is going to be roughly in line with the 5D Mark III from Canon. Even though it's a micro four thirds system, it still produces incredible images. If you go to DxOMark and look at the top cameras in the world at the moment, I think it's a Hasselblad, I think at the top, I can't remember exactly, and the next one down is the Nikon D850, so a DSLR is king at the moment. But then if you look down the list of the next, say, 10 cameras, I think it's pretty much going to be all mirrorless cameras. There isn't a Canon in sight. I think the first one that comes up is the 5D Mark IV, and it's way, way, way back. Nikons generally have a little bit better image quality. Sony's are absolutely superb. Fuji's are amazing as well, as is all the other cameras. So yes, image quality these days, if you buy a mirrorless camera, you should know that you're going to get some amazing pictures out of it. And like I said just previously, because you can see how the picture is going to look at the end of it before you actually take the picture, because it's represented in the camera through the eyepiece, you don't have to then push the files once you get home and put them into Lightroom and have to up the exposures too much. You might have to just tweak them a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that. Yeah, gone are the days with a DSLR where I've massively underexposed the picture and I've got to bring it back by 4 stops, or attempt to at least. Nope, I can see what I'm going to get already, and the image quality is going to be superb. But just to reiterate, image quality between a DSLR and a mirrorless camera is going to be roughly about the same. I'm not saying one's better than the other, it's just that if you're buying a mirrorless camera, you should know you're still going to get incredible image quality. Okay, my last reason, number 5, and that's no more micro adjusting the lenses to the actual camera body. If you've never done this before, oh my god, you just don't know the pain that this involves. Spending hours upon hours trying to finely tune the actual lens to the camera body. I don't have to do this anymore, and it's amazing. As a wedding photographer, this is something where you do quite often. So, I mean, if you've never experienced this, let me explain. We all know that there is a bunch of mirrors and bits and pieces in here that flap around all over the place, and that's fine. It generally works very, very well, but sometimes they can just move ever so slightly, like fraction of a millimeter out, and what this will happen, it will throw your focusing out. So the camera will think that the picture's perfectly in focus, but when you get home and you look at the picture on like your monitor, it's just going to say, nope, it's not in focus, because you're aiming here and you got here, and that's just no good. But now with the mirrorless systems, oh, let's grab this one over. I've got my little chair here for like a little desk. With a mirrorless camera, there's no flapping about with mirrors or anything else in there. The autofocus is coming directly off the sensor. So I don't have to worry about mirrorless being slightly out of line or anything like that. And I don't have to micro adjust lenses. I think there's still an option on here, but in my experience so far of using mirrorless cameras for the last year or so, I've never had a picture that I need to, or even feel like I need to micro adjust a lens. With my Canons, oh my god, I am micro adjusting them every 2 to 3 months if I feel that it's slightly out. This is a pain, it can take hours and hours. Case in point, this is my 35 Art, generally regarded as an amazing lens, and yeah, I go along with that. It can produce in some incredible pictures. However, if I put this on my Canon 5D Mark IV, I've got 2 of them, remember. It doesn't matter which one I put it on, but I will get about a 50% hit ratio with this lens. It's terrible. I can't trust this lens on that camera. And it's a real shame because I love this lens. I love this focal length. I want to shoot at 1.4. I don't want to shoot at 2.8. Why buy a 1.4 lens to shoot at 2.8? I might as well use my 24-70. So, as I was saying, I cannot use this anymore on my Canon bodies. It's so frustrating. But as soon as I put this lens, this exact lens on my Sony bodies, I get 100% hit rate. Yes, 100%. Every single picture I get of this is absolutely pin sharp. I mean, absolutely crystal clear, pin sharp every single time. On my Canons, I don't get that anymore. So it's not human error. If I'm getting perfect focus with my Sonys every single time, and then as soon as I put the same lens onto a Canon body, and it's me shooting it again, I'm getting about a 50% hit rate. It's not the human error, that's the camera error. Now, it doesn't happen with every single lens, and you may never have come across this, but if you felt the pain of micro-adjusting lenses all the time, this is a big thing. You're never going to have to worry about it again, and it's just, oh my god, I love it. That was my top 5 reasons of why I think you should consider switching over to mirrorless cameras. If you can think of any others, just drop them in the comment below. I'll try and answer some, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video if there's enough suggestions. I don't know, maybe. We'll see what happens. But anyway, don't forget, if you like the video, give me a like, maybe subscribe, watch a few more of my videos, it all helps, and I will catch you next time.